and then you have to just learn how to put yourself first in that way, and people will fall in line and just know that, like, okay, it can wait until you come back from gym, but when you come back, we talk about ABCD, you know, because men do it, you know,
100%.
men will be like, bye,
Yes,
we've got soccer.
Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of the Conversation Capital. Once again, thank you so much for all the love we're getting on social media. Continue to like, share, and subscribe. It is TCC. As always, welcome back. I know it's the second time that you're back, but I want to reintroduce you again because I'm so happy you're back. Bonga, the voice of reason. How you doing, girl?
I'm good. I'm so happy to be back. I think we'll say this every episode until we get used to it.
Welcome back, Bonga. That is the voice of reason. And then today we've got a very beautiful guest. You know, as soon as I say very beautiful, I know the DMs are going to start filling. Guys, relax, calm down. Luyanda, Sibisi. Hi, girl. How are you?
Hey, oh my God, I'm
Queen
so excited.
of skipping. Queen, I forgot to mention that in the introduction. Are you excited to be here?
I'm very, like, you have no idea. When we first met, I had no idea that this was what it was for.
Yes.
But I'm very excited.
This is so true. If I'm going to touch on how we met, so I was going to go visit a loved one in hospital, and you were sleeping next to the loved one. And then when I found out, can I mention
Of
how
course.
you were, like, a spider bite?
I know.
I was like, you've been in hospital for 8 days with a spider bite. Like, what's going on? And even in hospital, what made me very attracted to her, she was like in gym wear. She went to go work out in the morning. I'm like, who is this person? That's like in hospital for 8 days and working out in between. Like, go home. You're clearly okay. Like,
you know what?
Oh my gosh, I know. So that was a bit crazy, but it was it's been my sanity forever. So just the whole hospital stint was even more eye-opening as to how important it was for me. I mean, and the reason I was walking is because my legs were starting to swell. I was constipated. All the things that were not supposed to happen were happening because I was just stagnant for so long. You know, so it wasn't even about
needing
looking
to
cute,
yes,
working. I had
it was
to.
like need.
It was like my body was just not coping.
Definitely today's episode is about fitness and wellness, but let's just talk about freak accident things.
Yes.
Just slightly. What happened that day? Like, what was going on?
So I have a theory. I was telling Bonga, her name is
Yes.
Bonga, so that I have a theory about why it all happened, because I mean, I'm the kind of person who will not stop for anything. Like, if it has to be done, that's why, like, even on my way here, I was like, okay, there's a possibility I can't do this. And I was so hard on myself about it. I was like, you can't miss this. And I was just like really mean to myself. And then I had to take a minute to be like, relax. You don't have to finish everything that you start. Sometimes there's a reason why. So I'm always like a go person. So with the spider bite, I feel like it was just one of those things that just had to happen. Like, I had to slow down.
To pause.
I had to pause.
Sure.
And because I take care of my health so much, I try to take care of my health. I'm like always eating healthy, always trying to like stick to the rules. The spider bite was just like, why would you do this to me?
Yes,
you know how
my
consistent I've been.
Yes.
And then I just had to look within and be like, there's no way God would just be like, you're benched for no reason. I had to really look within.
And you were
I
benched,
was
eh?
benched, you know, even afterwards. I was like, can I go in? And it's like, no, you have some lessons to learn. And I had to just pause. So it was a spider bite. It got a bit more serious than it was supposed to get, because I then had to have surgery and
Yo, I remember just like realizing, Hori, some of us are pleading for a vacation. And God, I don't know spider, not today, man.
No.
I'm like, how long?
Sure, and it's so true. We even with what our topic to do with health, you know, if you do not take care of your health, your body will force you to.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
and then I can understand the contrast of that. Like,
Yes.
Lord, I put in the work.
Yeah.
Why am I benched?
Yes,
Why am I
exactly.
sitting in hospital? Well, I think you were like 11 days or 12 days.
Yeah, about 12 days. And then like a month afterwards, just not being able to skip and do what I love and do all those things. But, you know, I had to just look at what was missing in my fitness journey. And it was the rest, you know. And a lot of fitness people go through that. And I realized it because so many of my friends were like, you know, I've had a pain in my knee for the longest time, and you inspired me to just take a break because you are the one person I see at the gym every day. But then I realized, okay, you know what, it's fine to rest,
taking a break.
because, like, you know, it's fine to do that. So that's what was missing. And I'm a believer of just holistic health and wellness. So I feel like this happened to just shine a light on the blind spot that I was having of it's not always about 180 degrees and because wellness is not just about a nice body and there's so much more to it, and I was neglecting that part, it had to be relevant in my life in order for me to then advocate for it like genuinely, because you can't just say to people rest and then you don't rest, like but now I will literally be like, rest, I don't want to see you for like 7 days, and it's okay.
Yeah,
that's so true.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Ursula. Fitness people are like that. They're go. My partner sometimes, you're sick. Like, your nose is blocked.
Yeah.
Can you rest?
And they're like, no.
And I need to exercise to feel better.
Yes.
It's like flu needs rest with
Yes.
medication. Can you just rest? And it's so true.
My brother-in-law likes to say rest is a weapon in itself.
Of
Yes.
course. Oh my word.
That in itself, it's a weapon to step back and really just, rest. I was about to say put in the work. No.
Put in the what? Put in the
in resting. Put in the rest, darling. Put in the rest. Okay. So now that we've just introduced that slightly, sidebar. Because I remember I was just like, people get bitten by spiders and sit in the
South
hospital for
Africa.
so long. It was just such a weird
I know it was a freak
story.
accident. Really.
It was
Yeah.
such a weird story, and I was very intrigued. And then I came across your Instagram page, and then I realized, because you kept telling me like how this is actually very difficult for you, and then I understood why when I saw your Instagram page. I'm like, this person posts a video skipping every single day of her life.
I know.
She's like a whole fitness influencer. Of course, this should be very difficult for her to go through. And then I was just talking about now the fitness journey. A lot of us are, New Year's resolutions, trying to get fitter, healthier, sexier, slimmer, whatever you're doing it for. We are all there. If you're not, jump on the bandwagon, guys. It really is a good thing to love your health. How did you start? When did it start? How did you get involved in that?
Okay, so I mean, the fitness journey has always just been in my life, like in and out, in and out, in and out. But I was married very young. I was married at 18, and I have 2 kids. So in and amongst just like trying to figure out being a new mom, being a wife, because I was at varsity and I was just doing everything at one time, I had to have an outlet. I just didn't have an outlet because I just felt like, okay, come home, study, cook, feed the baby, do what you got to do. And then I was like, okay, what did you do the last time this happened? And I remembered like in high school, I started gym, and it just changed my life completely, because I was like at a girls' school and everyone was just super image conscious, and it was just like, But gym gave me that sense of like, okay, who do you want to be? Don't worry about what's happening in high school or whatever. So I went back to just kind of like, what did you do the last time you were overwhelmed and stressed out and just not feeling good about yourself? And that was gym. So I think since then, I mean, I'm 33 now. Since I was like 19, 20, I just never stopped.
Wow.
That was it for me,
so
because
jealous.
I knew that that was basically the glue that was holding my life together, because it wasn't just about gym. It was just about no baby, no husband. I don't have a gym partner. I don't gym with anyone. People know that, like, I want to gym with you. It's my moment where I'm just like,
By myself.
This
is me time.
Because then if I have to then gym with my husband or my boyfriend, it just defeats the purpose for me, because I'm trying to get away
From
you
all
know?
of that, yes.
And then the fitness benefit of it all is just, but it's not really the point. It's just an added benefit.
There are so many sub-layers to Luyanda, because firstly, we could have talked about freak accidents. Now I feel like we can talk about you getting married at 18. I'm like,
18!
is that a subtopic? Are we entering into a
Literally.
subtopic? But just talking about, like, are there ever times, because I'm somebody who goes through seasons, right? One thing, like 4 times a week at the gym. The next thing, 3 years. And I always keep my gym membership because my gym has a sauna.
Oh, you go for the sauna.
I will go all the way to the gym and be like, Kia sauning. So bad.
Pass machines, pass
Like,
Wi-Fi.
look, how are you doing?
They
They can never say I don't go. That's all I know. They can never say whether I worked out or not.
You were there.
No, I was there, and I was in the sauna. And so then but you're saying you did it consistently. But like, is there ever a season where you slip up for a while? And like, how does somebody stay motivated and in that space? I envy people that say since 18 I've never stopped. You know, how does that happen?
I think the slip up for me is just like getting into autopilot mode, because that happens to a gym. You find something that works and then you think you're going to do that for the rest of your life. Like, you get on a treadmill and then you just, I went through a running phase where I was running, doing like your 21Ks and your 10Ks and whatever. But I was injuring my body a lot with that. It was just not for me.
Okay.
And getting into autopilot is just that whole thing of like, do it, you know? And I wasn't losing weight. My body wasn't just changing. I was just running because I had told myself, I'm doing a marathon and that is that, you know? But the goal has to change, especially as women, you know? You go through different periods. Like as a teenager, your gym routine will be different. As a new mom, pregnancy, your gym routine is different. Post-pregnancy. And then there's the whole like post-menopausal, that's a thing, you know, that I've just been researching and going into a lot about just the fitness journey for women who are post-menopausal. Everything changes. Then I'm like, is it not enough that like you had to have your whole life like on your period and now you have to just like do another thing?
And giving birth and all of
I
that.
thought it was done.
When do I take a break, actually?
You know, but like my mom is just like exposing me to a lot of just the different things, like how her fitness journey has changed as well.
So your mom's also into fitness?
She's into fitness, but for health reasons and, you know, but it's more harder for her because she's just like, I don't want to do this. I'm so over it. But she does it for health, you know. But she's had to tailor her gym routine because she's going through menopause. And I'm just like, girl, I am learning so much, you know. So the mistake I would have made in my fitness journey is, yes, going to gym, but not tailoring the workout to suit me and where I was at my life in the time. So my body just wasn't going anywhere. So big fun. It's like I was going or not going. My body just wasn't responding.
What you're saying is so true, because you do find people that are at the gym 4 times a week, but they just look the same.
Yeah, and it's because there's no like thought process into into like, what are you doing and why, you know?
You know, I'm hearing her speak, I'm listening, and I'm thinking, find your why, find your why, find your why. You know, like earlier we were speaking about the holistic benefit on your sleep, and therefore on your happiness, and you know, it ties into so many other things.
Exactly.
And when you're speaking about tailoring it for what you need, I'm thinking about how I looked at people who run and I wanted to be a runner, but my knees would be so sore. And I tried and I pushed through the pain, and then I just stopped.
Yeah, and once again, it goes
what if that was
maybe
not for
me?
you?
Yeah. Like I think definitely since starting boxing, I finally found. Well, it hasn't been a year yet. Once I hit a year, then maybe I can finally say this.
No, it's okay.
But in this space, like, it's definitely, I need it.
Yeah.
And I've never felt that way because I've done the running thing. I've done many, but boxing is the one way I need it.
Yeah.
You know, like I was mentioning earlier, I struggle to sleep when I don't go.
Yeah.
And it's my release. Like, and I never thought I would get to that place. And I'm so glad that, and it was just random. I just randomly was like, oh, boxing.
Let me sign up. Yeah.
Because netball, the ball hits my face. My hand-eye coordination is absolutely terrible. Running, I wouldn't say I was the worst at running, but like, yabora, you know, I like interactive things. And so I've tried so many things, and you can easily give up thinking, I actually don't like working out. But it's a hit or miss. Like, this guy was recently consulting with me saying, what sport do you think I should? I said, do all of them, because you just have no idea what will be a real hit for you. Like for me, boxing is my hit. I'm finally like, wow, I love
I'm excited to go.
I'm excited to go, you know. One, hey, let's go.
Yeah.
You know, and who would have thought? You know, I mean, I do look like Laila Alinyana.
And you do. I see it's giving very much that.
Because I really do believe I look like her. But, you know, basically, find your, like, the thing that's going to work for you, and tailoring this activity to really what works for you. And I think that is the journey. It's almost got similarly to therapy. Finding a therapist that you connect with. Yeah. You know, it's a journey. And be willing to go on the journey. But if we're going to talk maybe food, you touched on food. I think the most difficult, without a doubt, it's the most difficult part, right? Like what you put in your mouth.
I mean, it's the 80%. Like gym is literally, it has nothing to do with
how your body looks.
It's all the food, you know. And not only just like the weight, but what you're eating will show up in your skin. It will show up in how you move. Suddenly, like when you get up, you're like, oh, and you're not getting up the same anymore. And you're just realizing, okay, my diet is lacking quite a few bone strengthening nutrients, and it's just a whole boring thing. I'm over it, I'll tell you that, because I had to then change my whole eating plan. I'm like plant-based now, and I have been for a few years. And that's because I realized, no, I don't eat meat.
That's why you are failing. I don't have discipline.
And has your family, before you go into the next question, has your family bought into it? Kapo, you still have to cook their food?
I mean, it's still their food. My son, because he was younger when I started, I think he was probably like 3 or 4. He was like, okay, I'm just going to eat what you eat. And now the taste of meat is not really his thing because from a very young age.
Tailored,
but my daughter
Wow,
was probably already like, she knew what she liked. And so she resisted it completely.
Okay.
So it's still separate meals and, you know, but they see that like, okay, we can sometimes not eat meat. Like, what's the big deal, you know? And it happened. I don't force it on them because that was my journey. And I don't know how it would, you know, feel for them and how it would react to their bodies.
Would you ever go
and
back to meat?
I don't know, but at the moment, I don't think so. Because I feel completely different to how I was when I was eating meat.
I was vegetarian for years. And the way I eat meat now...
Really?
You're making up...
Everyone always says, how are you eating meat like you weren't vegetarian for like 8 years of your life?
But a lot of people... I don't know if I'm getting her name wrong, but I think it's Tabitha Brown.
I love her.
Yes. She speaks about how her migraines went away.
Yeah.
How
when she went plant-based.
Yes. So many things just... went away when she stopped meat. And we know it's going to be a whole debate.
Eating meat is that I never lost weight when I was vegetarian. And then I got the whole blood type, eat right for your blood type. And I'm O positive. And then I learned that we're the carnivores. And that's what made me say, what if I'm actually... And then when I started eating meat, I started losing weight.
Yeah.
So that's what made me really just like hate the whole... And that's once again tailoring and finding
what works
for your body. Yeah. You know, and so like I get tempted, you know, because you have so many benefits with the vegan lifestyle. Maybe I could have done it differently. Maybe I could have been a bit more strict. I wasn't vegan. I was always vegetarian.
Yeah.
But I'm always like, I never lost weight eating like that. You know, and so...
Yeah, and I think, like, you know, that's why I don't tell people to go plant-based. It's a very personal thing because, firstly, there's the social aspect to it. You know, like you were saying,
very difficult,
some people are moms and just don't want to cook 4 different meals.
Yes.
Or there's the social pressure of, I mean, I have a friend who's Xhosa who was like, girl, when I go home, like, because they have...
Yes,
you know,
they
imigidi
slaughter,
and they, you know, it's only meat for like 32 days of December, you know.
That's true.
So there's a social aspect. There's just so many things, and I want to just, it's like telling someone to be Christian or to be Muslim, or you've got to just really speak to the heart when you come at somebody about like their eating, because there's just so many like different, like I said, social aspects, and mostly it's social, how we're socialized. That's
so true.
You know, informs our eating habits. Really, it's got nothing to do with, because it's one thing for like, you know, in the United States, the culture of diet is completely different. Like that's been their thing. You know, the South Beach diet, and this, you know, diet culture is part of their culture.
Yes.
And to take their trends and try to make them our trends, it's not always. You know, because diet culture is not big in SA in terms of the level of like commercialization of diet culture in the US versus here. So you tread very lightly, especially when you're trying to help someone lose weight. You can't just force a diet in their space. So you did what you had to do, and now it's just not working for you anymore. Yeah.
And I also believe that there are different seasons and different diets that you need to go on a different, like I've been doing this whole 2 meals a day thing. So I eat at 11 and 6. And I was explaining earlier that I do it because I don't have the self-control in my, so it's either I'm not eating or I'm eating my meal. But when I do the whole eat when I want to, I just find myself always snacking, always having a nibble here, and then so when I started like, okay, specifically this is my eating window here, and here's my eating window here, it really helped me control how much food, even outside of like, you know, the higher protein, whatever, and that helps you limit exactly like what you're putting into your mouth. And that's like my little now thing, but I know that it could change. A few years from now I could be plant-based, you know, and that's what I've learned with like what you put into your mouth, that there's seasons. 1 minute you're going through oats every morning, you need more fiber than usual or whatever, and other mornings you're doing eggs and salad or whatever, you know.
Exactly.
And so like I've just learned that there are different seasons, and it's okay to try different diets. It's okay to be on Mediterranean and then change to the wolf diet. The wolf diet is the worst. Do you guys know the wolf diet? Yeah, no.
Just meat.
Girl.
No, it's like the intermittent fast, and then you break in the evening just before you sleep, and you have one meal.
Ooh,
yeah.
that doesn't work for everyone.
It doesn't work for
It
everyone.
doesn't work for. I mean, people are on chronic medication. Like, there's just so many different things.
I just love our shift to being progressive. Like, really, health enthusiasts would be like, no, this is the way. Stop starch, stop this. But it's like, let's work with what you can, so that it's also more sustainable. Things like that. That's how the fed diets go away, because now we've channeled it into my lifestyle. This works for me. I just love that progression. Okay, let's work with you. Let's see. You can have starch, but maybe healthier starches, or this or that. And I really love our shift in society.
Yes.
Sure. And it's been so necessary. Sorry, because I mean, I've been dieting since I was like 16. So I've done Atkins, I've done Sure Slim, I've done Weight Watchers, I've done Way Less, I've done them all, right? And I was just not happy. Even when I was like a size 28, I was not happy.
You know what's crazy for me? I go back to my pictures. I've never been like a health enthusiast, but there was a phase in my life where I went to aerobics every single day, right, in varsity. So I would at least have some physical activity. And I look at how my body was at that time, and I was not happy. And I look at how I'm still not happy even now. So it's like, you were at your smallest. Exactly. You were at your smallest. You're not happy. We also have to look at that, like, you were at your smallest. You're not happy.
Body dysmorphia.
Exactly. It's like, you didn't realize how great you looked.
Yes. And this is what my one friend who really struggles with the weight journey said, that I just learned the other day. She was like, I learned the other day that I've never been happy. Even when I was a size 28, I wasn't happy.
Exactly.
So the issue is actually up here. You know, now I'm a 42 and I'm also not happy. And I'm blaming it on being a 42. But when I remember when I was a 28, I still was not happy. And she's somebody that really bounces between like two extreme ends. Either she's like super skinny or she's, you know, on the bigger end. And even that just shows like the unhealthy habits that we have. Sometimes I'm definitely the same. It's either I'm eating or I'm not.
Starving
or eating.
And I think that, like, that's why I feel like the whole spider incident, I'll just refer to it as that, was that moment for me where I had to then say, okay, you've kind of like transcended the physical aspects of fitness, and now we need to move inwardly, because that's where I want my work to take me, like, until I die. You know, it's just getting to a point of like, let's look inside, you know, because honestly, what's the point of being a size 28 and then you're not happy? Like, then let's just leave it, you know? You could have had the cake, you know what I mean? Because you really would.
That would be a nice book. That would be a nice book title. You could have had the cake.
So the work has changed. My approach to it is completely changed, you know? And that's why it was so important for me to be here today, because I was like, okay, I want to test drive this new little approach I have, see if it fits well with the people, and like, you know,
it fits well with us.
It's so important, because that way you make health accessible, because you're not saying stop doing this or why, like, it doesn't feel like punishment, it doesn't feel like judgment. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. It doesn't feel like this judgment, this understanding of, this is where Bonga's at, I'll be your new gimmick. Like, Bonga, let's get you from here to there. You know, it's like you make a comfortable space for people to be like, you are here, you want to go here, how we do it with your lifestyle.
I definitely think there's a running theme here, tailoring. Tailoring things to the season, to the person, who you are. And see, man, I wish I had known that lesson earlier, definitely. Because we just want to do what other people are doing. Like my New Year's resolution, and I kill piscine. But you and Connie Ferguson, I'm like, Lord, by the end of this year, can I please know how to skip like that?
Yay! But that's exciting, because
I finally learned one style.
Yay!
And I'm like, I've got 2 left feet. So like my skipping game is terrible.
No, but you see, that is so good to know, because I think, I can't speak for her, but I think that the reason why she's probably also showing the journey is for it to catch on, because it's such an amazing thing to learn. You feel so invincible, you feel so powerful, you feel so like, oh my God, I can do that, you know? And so I think we would have a happier.
I need people to pause right now. Luyanda Azizi on Instagram. Go look at one of her skipping videos. There are many. Like, it's ridiculous.
And for me, it's the kid aspect. It's so fun.
It's fun.
Like, it's skipping, it's going back to the basics. You know?
It's so fun. And it's also like cognitive. Like, you have to think about it as well. Because I'm sure when you were learning the trick, you were just like, okay, I had said left foot first.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to really, get your head in the game.
And be in rhythm.
And be present, because at that moment, that's all you're thinking about, hey? Like,
that's very
I will
true.
not fumble, and I will get this right,
Yes.
But then if you're thinking about whether you left the stove on, you won't skip.
Yeah, you can't do it. You can't. That's
so it forces you to be in the moment.
Be in the moment.
Yeah. That's
you're
awesome.
so right. I never thought of that.
We're all gonna be skippers after this.
No, skip, guys. Skip. It is so much fun. It is.
So much
it really is so much fun. I'm also really enjoying the skipping journey and learning how to skip. And it's something you can do by yourself in the house.
Yeah.
And you don't get bored. Like, it's not like a normal workout. It's like you find yourself looking in the mirror for hours.
And it's accessible.
Yeah.
It's accessible. I know we're guilty, like fitness people are very guilty of just like looking very elitist. And even in the skipping thing, I realized that there's that now.
There is,
of
course.
It's like, oh girl, like
Skipping
you're doing it like this, but
you're actually supposed to be doing like this. Yeah.
So I get it. There is an elitist, competitive thing about it, but skipping is so accessible. Like you can do it anywhere. Yeah. You can literally just clear up this area and skip here.
You're pointing at the area where I do skip, actually.
Wow, that's amazing.
Right
I saw it and I was like, oh my word, that's a good
skipping
bit
spot.
of space.
Yeah,
I like that. That's good skipping real estate. Like, I'm jealous.
Skipping real estate.
It really is.
Okay, so let's talk. Last thing, motivation. If we're going to keep people motivated, people that, they're dwindling down from the New Year's resolution fever. It is February after all. People are entering into chocolate month. Giddy February chocolates and Ferrero Rocher Lindt month. And this is usually where, as soon as Urwa enjoy, just know you're going down. This is usually the month where all those resolutions come to a halt. And I love it because finally the gym starts freeing up. But anyway.
Woo! Only that person.
I am that person.
Thank God, the real gym people are here.
The rest of us can finally use the equipment.
See the elitist thing again. Yes. Here we are.
But you know what? People on social media, like gym people, will be out by Feb. We'll be giving your space back by Feb.
So speaking to those people who are like, this year is the year, I don't want to do that. And in fact, I think I also fall on that side. Actually, now that I think of it, we just want to continue with this. Where do we find the source of motivation, like continuous motivation? Where is it?
I don't know. I do think that, like, sometimes when I think about when I can't do something, like when I was in hospital, I couldn't skip. And that was like, I kept saying, like, when I get out of here, I promise you I will never, ever, like, do bad things. I will only do good things. Please just let me, like, continue my fitness journey. Like, there's nothing worse than getting to a place in your life where you actually then can't do something because of the choices you've made where you could have done something,
Gosh, yeah.
And now we're living in a time where chronic illnesses are just, like, popping up left, right, and center. And autoimmune diseases are another thing that, like, we don't talk about, but are a thing because of psychologically how illnesses of the mind are affecting us physically. So that's a whole thing. So I feel like fitness is just that one thing that you can just be like, you know what, like, it's okay, just 5 minutes, and you don't know what you're, like, just preventing by doing that 5 minutes. You were probably like one insulin rush away from diabetes, or something like that, or you were one, like, squat away from, like, hypertension or back problems or knee problems. Or if you can just think of, like, if I can just do this small thing, energy, that small bit of 5 minutes will really, like, make a difference to just the slippery slope you're heading on, if ever you are on one. Like, just 5 minutes of gym can just bring you back a little bit, because it's the only thing that repairs and prevents,
and I've also learned that the trick is also definitely in, like, what you're saying, the 5 minutes, the getting to the gym, the putting on the gym weight. So for me, I'm always like, I try to shower for 10 to 15 minutes in the morning, and then I do my gym routine late in the evening after work. But what I've learned is that I enjoy skipping so much that I find myself doing it for 30 to 45 minutes in the morning before I take a shower, and, like, it's just that it's like saying, actually, we just quickly squeeze in 5 minutes, and then you just find it taking over and really just getting lost in it and enjoying it. And so my cousin always says, because she's also, like, a huge gym fanatic, she always says, it's just dress up and go.
Dress up and go.
Just dress up and go.
And find something.
And when you find yourself there, you're just like, I'm already here.
I might as well.
And
find something that you can do, like, sustainably. Like, don't start spinning if you can see that, like, okay, I'm not going to do this for the rest of my life. Like, I can literally see that this is just going to be a 6-month fad and then we're over it. But if you can walk for the rest of your life, I know, right? I was just like, this does not feel right. Walking is now a thing. I walk now, and I never used to be a walker, but from when I was in hospital, like, I was walking, and it did more than what running did for me. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I've been sleeping on walking. Like, it is, I feel it in my muscles the next day.
And for me, walking is more like because I walk with a good friend of mine, and it's therapy.
Very.
Like, because we'll walk maybe a good 8 kilometers, and like, we really talk and like really just, I always say I need the session. I don't want it. I need the session, because it just does so much for clearing my thoughts and my mind and where I'm at, and really just categorizes things in a way that sitting and chatting with a friend over champagne doesn't do. There's something about yes, there's something about it that, like, it really gets your brain thinking correctly. I don't know if you experience that.
No, it does. And a lot of the times, like, I don't have a social life. Gym is my social life, because it's the one time where I'm just like, hey girl, oh my gosh, and you make friends there, and it's not just about getting to
in
gym.
the sauna.
You see, and you were like, oh my god, girl, so what happened last week? Did you break up with him? Like, it ends up being that. And I won't socialize if I don't go to gym. I'll just be home.
Wow.
So I found a place that's also just a social release.
Sure. We're definitely going to move on to one of the last questions, but it's interesting that you say that, because I have also definitely learned that the fitness journey and, like, groove don't go hand in hand.
They don't.
A lot of people say that become because I've read experiences about fitness. They're like, just the next day you feel so lethargic, you don't want to go to the gym, and you don't want to interrupt that, so it's not worth it. It's not worth me missing out on gym.
I've also learned, like, when you're on, like, a strict diet and you're eating healthy and you're eating one glass of whatever shampoo will take you out, and then you can't
because your body's
you can't afford to do it, and I even learned that once you take in alcohol, like, your body stops metabolizing anything else, needs to get the poison out.
I know.
And that's why it, like, runs through your system. Now you are here. People are like,
well, one glass.
You only had one glass,
Yeah.
And then, like you're saying, you're lethargic the next day, and then groove, and so when you're saying it becomes your social life, I can totally attest that, because then you're like, ish, I'm gonna go out, and then now there'll be wine on the table, and then it's not worth it. I don't feel like working out, and that's been interesting for me, just to see how those two things cannot exist in the same. I've got this one specific cousin of mine who, like, absolutely doesn't touch a drink or whatever, and his big thing is that he's a soccer person. And he's just like, no, that's going to slow me down for the match on Sunday. Like, I'm not, and it's just interesting how those choices become innate when you fall in love with something else.
Yeah.
I'm not saying people shouldn't go have shampoo, but don't call me judgment. I'm just saying that it's interesting how
naturally it leads you there, honestly.
But I mean, to the point where, like, my kids won't even stop me from going to gym, Nothing will stop me from working out or taking care of myself. So it's not even about the groove or whatever. My kids, my son, I'm like, you have 5 minutes to figure out what you want to say to me, because I'm out of the door and I'm not looking back.
Sure, but that's also
like, so
really
it's not just about groove.
Special,
Yeah.
Because you don't hear of it often. You've got 2 kids. You're a young mom, and in that hour, 2 hours that you spend at the gym, that's choosing yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
and, like, remember when she started,
yourself.
she was like, what's the one thing that I can do for myself that brings me back to myself? And it was the gym. And you're being very intentional about that. That's very important.
Yeah.
And what I like about taking care of yourself as a human being, you're able to be a better parent. So I may not give you that 5 minutes then, but because I've taken care of myself,
I am now more present.
I'm more present for you. So I'm a better person because I'm taking care of myself. So it's very important.
And it's relationships, it's everything. I mean,
yes.
If Bae wants to, like, I mean, I'm up at 5 every day, and then it's like, I'm not going to do breakfast in bed because I got to be at the gym. Like, we'll do it later or whatever, And then you have to just learn how to put yourself first in that way. And people will fall in line and just know that, like, okay, it can wait until you come back from gym. But when you come back, we talk about A, B, C, D, because men do it,
100%.
Men will be like, bye.
Yes.
We've got soccer at like 7 with the guys, and and so we need to, as women, and that's one of my biggest things, is to just be selfish about it.
Sure.
Like,
Michelle Obama talks about it in her book, Becoming.
yeah.
She talks about the moments where she just realized that, the big issue here is that I'm not actually taking the time for myself. And that's when she started working out. And she says it just changed, like, just how she was viewing things, because she was consciously being like, no, this is Michelle time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's important.
Woo.
Very
Guys,
important.
we're always growing. Always. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh my
I
gosh.
feel like we're slightly inspired. If the energy was dwindling down in February, hopefully this episode allowed you to
Yes.
pick up and, just get back on the bandwagon. Start walking, start skipping, start trying different
Something.
things, spinning, whatever's your thing, and then let us know in the comment section what's your thing, what works for you, diets that work for you, what's your eating plan, which I think everybody needs to be on an eating plan all the time.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. You can't just be eating.
No, you can't.
Yes, you have
It
to be on
catches
an
up.
eating plan. Yes, you have
catches
to
up.
consciously be
Yeah.
on an eating
I mean,
plan.
there's a guy on TikTok, just to like close, he basically eats something and then he measures his blood sugar levels after he's eaten that thing. And then it's more educational. He'll just be like, okay, guys, I just had like a packet of chips.
Yes.
This is what that effect is on your body. Like, this is what this will do to your
Yes.
sugar levels. So, it's also just not about eating to lose weight. Like, he'll actually show you like, okay,
These are the effects.
you eating this every day or having a coffee every day with this and this is what it's doing. Then you can decide. Because also I think like we don't know like what is this chocolate gonna do or whatever, So
Ooh.
just to have that understanding that like, okay, but that dude did say
Yes.
that it will spike my sugar levels and then I'll have a crash and then. So just get to know and understand what certain foods, what role they have, and just be intentional.
No, Given is shaking his head and we're not looking at him because I hear what you're saying. You're talking about the knowledge, understanding
Yes,
what
make
this
the
thing will
choice.
do. Make a full decision.
Yeah.
It
sounds crazy. I
Yes.
know.
No, I
it
hear you.
really sounds crazy. But I also think it's just because I just made a decision that like no matter what happens, this is the life I'm deciding to live. And all of the crazy little things that I do
Sure.
to aid in that goal, it's very crazy. It looks insane to everyone else, but that's just
But when you're passionate about something,
decided.
that's what
Yeah.
happens.
so I know it's crazy.
And you'll take your credit.
But is it
It's
really,
okay.
guys,
I
when you're
also
taking
think-
care of this thing that carries you?
I agree. Is it really crazy? Because I'm also just learning how much like you only have one body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you need to
I'm
give
saying
it your
this
everything.
despite my habits, but I'm aware.
No, no,
Like,
yeah.
this body is it.
Sure.
It's it. And you can get a BBL. Look, you can. But
because unale booty.
and I mean I will never speak on the BBL thing, especially on my social media or whatever, because it's just like I will never understand it. I don't but I understand that like feeling like, okay, I can just go and get this done.
Double up.
But there's just so many things that make up a body, your cells, everything, all the way to a granular level. So a BBL can fix just so much, but inside, like if you're not working on your mental health, if you're not working on, just the different types of foods you're eating, if you're not
Sure.
getting your tests done, if you're not like,
No, and I've
Either way.
practically seen some of my friends that have gone for cosmetic and not come back with a higher self-esteem.
Yes,
And I'm like, how? In fact, all of them have not come back with a
it's
higher
as if it
and not
leaves
that I'm
them worse off. I
yes.
don't want to lie.
Not that I'm anti-cosmetic surgery, but I'm very much like, you really have to think really hard about it and you have to be intentional.
Yes.
You have to put in the
Yeah.
work mentally and understand what you're doing and understand the limits to it, because I just haven't seen somebody go through a good experience where they think once I have this,
I'll be
I'm
happy.
done.
I'll be happy.
Yeah.
And the body dysmorphia is so real.
there's so
where
many-
you're absolutely still not happy.
There's so
How
many
come?
videos on girls who speak about the impact of BBLs on your mental health. They speak about the exact same thing. Hore, I did this thing, but it's as if they want to starve themselves. They want to want, but that's a whole nother topic.
His body dysmorphia is
It's
a
hectic,
whole
yeah.
other topic, and it's something I can never exclude myself from.
No.
I don't look in the mirror happy
honey,
every day when I look
no.
at my body. Absolutely not.
No.
There are times where I've learned to be conscious to speak positively to my body
Yes.
and thank it for carrying me and dote on my body, which is something I didn't know until maybe about 2 years ago.
Wow.
And I think that has really helped me just dote on my body.
You
and
have
be
to.
like, yeah, I love you and thank you for carrying me. Thank you for being this vessel that I get to do life in. But there's never a time where I'm like, We wake up flawless.
Sorry, no.
And honestly, you have those conversations with yourself and you try to be positive, but practically, you know, like we do them, we want to feel good, we want to order, and it's a lot of work, and that's why there's so many movements around that. But it's like you're like, but
no, guys, this is definitely another conversation that we can't just touch on lightly. We absolutely cannot touch on the whole insecurities and body dysmorphia conversation lightly. So I don't want to not do it justice, but it is something that I would love to get into.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
Wow. And I must say, you know, to the younger people I was actually surprised. Some lady stopped me and said to me, I listened to your podcast, and when I looked at her, she looked 12. I think she was maybe 18 or 19. That's when I was like, this is actually, I need to be more conscious that I'm speaking to very young people. And so that being said, the young people that are listening, it does get better with age.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Only if you do the work, though.
I was about to say so, because for some people it doesn't change.
Really, guys?
Yeah, some people
so
have
much kinder on myself.
Have grown up being taught horrible things about their bodies, believe them, and they don't meet people or consume content that makes them feel better about themselves. Yeah, it depends. You do the work. I mean, I follow people who look like me deliberately, because I want to love myself, and you know, I don't want to feel like I'm less than. So you need to know all of those other things.
You need to be intentional about wanting to love yourself and wanting to love your body.
I mean, my mom was actually explaining like just what happens when you go through menopause. Like she was saying, and she was explaining it to me, and it was like I was just hearing something for the very first time, and I was like, oh my God, it makes so much sense why a lot of women in that age bracket get work done. And she was saying, no, you just need to hold on, just for a few years, just wait, you know. There's that awkward phase when you get out of menopause and into your post-menopausal, you know, you deal with like lower body fat. And she was even saying like how you see yourself changes, you know, because obviously hormonally you're going through a hormonal change. And she's like, I get why they get work done, but you just have to tell yourself like, it'll pass, it'll pass, it'll pass, it'll pass, it'll pass, you know? And if she didn't know that, I don't know how she ended up just like having the wherewithal to know that like it'll pass. But like, she's like, I finally feel like I'm exiting that like weird, you know, that like preteen phase when you really like aren't that cute.
The crazy
your
thing
nose is a bit big. Women go through that when they get to menopause. Like they actually have physical changes where you start to be like, oof, you know. And some women just never find themselves again, which is really sad. They just lose themselves into that process, and that they just become.
So maybe it doesn't get better with age.
That's the crazy thing for me. Like I'm thinking, older women go through this. I almost said mothers, which is very horrible because not all older women are mothers, but as you age, you also go through like changes like that alter how you see yourself. Shouldn't we be at a place where we're content? Like omoholo, you'd assume you're.
I saw a video with Oprah talking about this youth obsessed generation that we live in. And also another video that spoke about how men can be celebrated at every age.
Oh yeah,
like you can get a sexy old man.
It's so unfair.
You know, women are not celebrated. Like the more youthful you are, the more beautiful you are. That's the standard with women's beauty. And it's very seldom that we celebrate wrinkles.
Yes,
it's very seldom that we celebrate. You know,
hair.
I'm sorry, but Connie Ferguson's grey hair makes me want grey hair yesterday, right? But it doesn't come. It's not very often that you find like that being celebrated in women, which just shows how the older we grow, the less celebrated we are for our beauty.
Yes.
You know, now it's like, hey, you better have wisdom. Huh?
And even women, older women who embrace or beauty are judged. I remember there was a TikTok of an older woman who was doing great makeup, quite old, and she was like, "Hi, you're old. You shouldn't be doing makeup." Or people were like, or if she dresses a particular way, when you're old, it's as if you must dress old. Like it's know.
What you're saying is actually affecting me because I remember like my mom sometimes would be like, "Kids makeup." I'm like, "Girl, you old. Like nobody cares." And like you're making me realize, no, she still wants to be beautiful.
Yes.
You know.
And I mean, I remember your mom had said, if I can just share, she was saying, you know, I used to just gym and I really like, and you could see she was so frustrated. She's like, I just don't know what's happening and I don't know what's going on. And, you know, obviously I don't know what period of her life she's in terms of that transition between, but, you know, I wish I could have said to her, I think I did even say that to her, that like, you've just got to tailor your workout. Like you can't do what you were doing when you were 19 and pine over that and be like, girl, I literally used to do like the comrades, but that was in 1982, you know.
It's not the same.
And she'll be so much happier if she just like does Pilates, and it's gonna change her body, and she'll feel happier because like it's just a different era. Like, and it's not about going back to your youth. It's just about maximizing on the era you're in now and getting.
Sure, isn't it symbolic to everything?
Everything.
Yes.
It's
celebrating a new era of your life. Celebrating now being a mom.
Yes.
And really just stepping
That's
into
exactly
that
what
new space.
came into my mind.
Just stepping into a new space, whether you're going into varsity or you're going into marriage, and just celebrating a new era, a new chapter.
Or something has ended in your life that you thought you couldn't go through or whatever. Embrace all of that.
People that are going through divorce.
Oh
yes,
yeah.
that's a new journey. That's a new
for me.
era.
I had to just like, and I had to be in my revenge body era, like when I went through a divorce.
You still have a revenge body, girl. I don't know what you're talking about. You never stopped the
but
revenge
the
body era.
mindset, you know, of being like, I am doing it for, and he mustn't think that I fell off because I didn't. But I don't need to have that. I'm not in that era now because there's no one I'm trying to be like,
Luyanda, we need you back.
You thought.
Because our time is up, but we need you back because that's also another story that you need to tell us about. The revenge body era, the divorce, going through that.
Revenge body era was crazy, but I'd love to come back actually and talk about it. So thank you. Oh my God, I'm so happy. It's like a talk with your girlfriend.
Yes, that's what it's supposed to be. That's all it is.
Wow.
It's the
Thank you for having
conversation
me.
capital. Thank you so much for coming in. We're definitely going to have you back again. We're going to talk more about body dysmorphia, also about divorce and, you know, revenge body era and all those things that, you know, just make up who we are. But thank you. It's been lovely meeting you.
Oh, it was
my
amazing.
gosh. Guys, it is the conversation capital. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much once again, always for showing us love. That's all we ever get. We get so much love on all these social media platforms. But number one is to share. Number one is also to subscribe. Ne? Don't forget it. Love you. See you in the next episode. Mwah.